We're officially past the halfway mark in the year, and that means it's time to see how we're doing. Wait, didn't I just say that recently? Am I subconsciously plugging a past video? Who am I kidding? It's the start of a new month and the end of an old one, so we're back again with another monthly to recap everything that went down. If you're new around here, welcome to the premier place to hear about what co-op games came out last month, what co-op games are coming out next month, and any co-op news in between. That's right, it's the Co-op Monthly. Let's get started.
Following up on the slimmer releases of July, we didn't have too many surprises this month, but there's at least a couple bangers here, so let's get started with the Co-op Roundup. Part of the kinda free PS Plus offerings of the month, Arcadegeddon landed with a fair 74 on OpenCritic. You can play this one in 4-player co-op online with both a PvE and PvP mode available. It's hard to pin this one to just one genre as it brings elements of other co-op shooters, roguelites, and even looter shooters. The gist here is that you and up to 3 friends make your way through randomized stages where you complete certain challenges in order to move forward. Push Square gave it a fitting 7 out of 10 saying, Arcadegeddon is IllFonic's most well-rounded multiplayer title yet, with a fun, engaging core and fast-paced gameplay keeping you going. Its roguelike elements don't get in the way, and it's a great game to let loose with a friend or two. Last month, I talked about how Klonoa just isn't getting enough credit, It's Sonic this, Sonic that. Well, Klonoa is on the ups, my friends, as it landed with a strong 77 on OpenCritic. Like I said previously, you can play these in 2-player local co-op, but expect more of a support role for the second player. Attack of the Fanboys summed up their review by saying, if you're looking to fall in love with a platformer that wears its heart on its sleeve, you'll be happy to know these titles still do hold up tremendously well, even if they may not feel as polished as some newer games in the genre. Didn't really expect to be saying this, but Dinkum is absolutely killing it on Steam, guys. It's currently sitting at an overwhelmingly positive score with over 2,000 user reviews, what the heck. It's also picked up some notable press, with outlets like Kotaku and PC Gamer calling it Steam's new favorite game. You can play this early access title in 4-player co-op online as you build up your dream Australian ranch together. As one user put it, Dinkum is a great Animal Crossing-like, with more focus on light survival elements and crafting. You're doing most of the things you do in Animal Crossing, but with more freeform gameplay from Minecraft and Stardew Valley. Honestly, it sounds pretty dope to me. After a couple delays, we finally got the release of Escape Academy, which landed with a strong 80 on OpenCritic. Most outlets seem to love it, praising its puzzles, engaging story, and 2-player co-op gameplay. Inverse scored it a 9 out of 10, going as far as saying Escape Academy delivers the best co-op experience since It Takes Two. I mean, that is high praise, and as the premier co-op outlet that we are, we have to take note. There's a lot of talk about this one, so it has a chance to make a big splash when it comes to our Game of the Year discussion. We're looking forward to diving into it ourselves to see how it measures up. Power Wash Simulator has been making the rounds as the latest meme game turned actually really fun game. But did you know that it had 6-player co-op? Lucky for you, it left early access and landed with a strong 75 on OpenCritic. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10 saying this, Power Wash Simulator's simple yet therapeutic style of gameplay provides an enjoyable way to chill out across its numerous generally sized levels. Honestly, this looks super fun and it's also on Game Pass, which makes it easy to get your crew together. Also, it reminds me, this is a perfect time to announce our latest venture, the Co-op Bros Cleaning Company. If you've been looking for a Contra-like game where you fight a spider-dinosaur hybrid, then Spidersaurs may be the game for you. Releasing towards the middle of the month, Spidersaurs landed with a fair 70 OpenCritic score. It features 2-player local co-op, and like I said, it's very reminiscent of old Contra games, but with a cool Saturday morning cartoon look and, of course, a spider dinosaur. God is a Geek gave it a 7 out of 10 saying Spidersaurs is lovable, looks fantastic, and nowhere near as hostile and hardcore as the games that inspired it. They also said they would totally watch a Spidersaurs cartoon, and you know what? We would too. Last month, I said I wasn't sure about As Dusk Falls. Honestly, I didn't think it would do well at all. And it seems I was kinda wrong as the game landed with a strong 76 on OpenCritic. Most outlets are praising the game for its grounded story and voice acting. We also learned that the multiplayer aspect has you playing with up to 8 friends where everyone gets to vote on decisions that can alter the story. On top of that, everyone does the quick time events that are known to this genre, and the game will take the overall success/fail ratio, which is kinda cool. You can even have your friends play on their phones through a native app. All told, this seems like a cool interactive drama to share with friends if that's your kind of thing. Multiverse has hit all platforms with its open beta. We played it and we loved it. Before anyone says anything, yes, we understand this isn't a typical co-op game, but it's definitely more cooperative than Smash Bros or any other crossover fighting game we've played. There's a big emphasis on team play as the main mode of the game is actually 2v2s. There's a lot of ways to work together, from picking complementary characters to stacking perks, and most characters even have support moves. It's a lot of fun, and if you don't believe us, I mean, just watch this clip.
Oh my gosh, dude, we're animals. We're gonna go fly! What's happening? Oh my god! Look how people down! Oh my god! Oh my god,
We're not sure if we'll review this, but we're very excited to keep putting a beat down on people online, that's for sure. And finally, to round out the month, we have Kingdom Gun, which landed on Steam to mixed reviews. This is a 4-player online roguelike with multiple characters and a sweet retro aesthetic that I for one really love. It seems most people are praising the gameplay loop and how the game feels, but it's losing some points due to difficulty ramping and some general lack of polish. One user says it's a great roguelike for its price, but we can't totally rule out this isn't a developer on the game. Good on them for shooting their shot.
Starting off the month, we've got Afterwave Downfall, an arcade hero shooter that has a local 2-player co-op mode. It's basically just a shmup in a boat. Yes, a shmup is a very technical gamer term for shoot 'em up. Anyways, this one looks pretty basic, but comes in at around $12, so if you want a modern-ish shmup to play with a friend, here you go. Void Crisis is an online 4-player tower offense game where you and your buddies operate combo bio machines called VA, Vital Armor, drawn with dynamic mechanical art shaders, and work together to clear high difficulty stages. And yeah, I just checked, this game was developed in Japan. That lines up. Honestly though, it looks pretty cool. I really like tower defense games, so hey, why not try a tower offensive game for once? This is only launching into early access, so just keep an eye on it for now. Grid Force Mask of the Goddess is giving off some serious sneaky co-op indie game that could be a banger vibes. It's a real-time tactical bullet hell RPG, aka a Mega Man Battle Network inspired game. You'll love to see it. You play as Donna, but she can recruit other heroes to join her team, and that's where the local co-op comes into play. It also talks about how the story adapts to your choices. That's a whole lot of boxes that have just been checked off, boys. We'll have to wait and see how it does come August 11th. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we've got Dynabomb 2, a game not giving off any good vibes. Although, to its credit, Dynabomb promises lots of fun in co-op mode. Now look, every baby has to have their first platformer, and if it's not going to be Mario or Game of the Year candidate Ryan's Rescue Squad, then let it be Dynabomb 2. Yars Recharge is a boss rush bullet dodging revival of the 1982 Atari classic Yars Revenge. It's got 60 unique enemy encounters in a local co-op mode, which was not a part of the original. So for all you Yars heads out there, I'm assuming that's what you call yourselves, here's what you've waited 40 years for. Go wild. So far, August has been a lot of obscure titles, but one big one that drops on the 23rd is the Saints Row reboot. There have been plenty of previews from all the major outlets, and the gist is this. It does nothing to change the formula you're familiar with, but if you're okay with that, it'll probably be a lot of nonsensical fun. I think that'll be more than enough for fans of the series. Earth Defense Force is a long-running series out of Japan where you defend the Earth from aliens, kinda looks like some bugs, pretty sure that was a toad. I don't know, you're a force that defends Earth. Enough said. This is the 6th major title, and it's coming to PlayStation this month with both online and local co-op, but only to Japan for now. They do usually bring these titles over to North America and Europe, but for now you have to wait a bit longer to get your hands on this one. Monster Outbreak is one of the games we covered during non-E3 this year, and it's coming out this month. It's a pixel art survival game where you gather resources, build defenses, upgrade your weapons, and all that good survival stuff. It has 2-player local co-op and 4-player online co-op, and is dropping exclusively to the PC. If the trailer piques your interest, be sure to wishlist it on Steam. In 3rd grade, I got weirdly obsessed with this show SD Gundam on Toonami, and now all of a sudden it's going to be a thing again, and I am definitely down. SD Gundam Battle Alliance brings back my cute little robot friends in a 3-player online co-op action RPG. It actually looks interesting combat-wise, having to learn the strengths of the chosen battle mech, and Noisy Pixels in their preview talks about how playing with friends could add a lot to the experience. I've completely forgotten anything to do with the story at this point, and it seems to be for hardcore fans in that department, so you might need to brush up if you're like me. Destroy All Humans comes from that golden age that many of you like to refer to in our comments section, back when a lot of the single-player games came boxed in with a split-screen co-op mode. Luckily for us, the team behind the remake of the second game is making good on the originals and adding full campaign split-screen co-op with no compromises, except of course your screen real estate. If that's something you've been missing, it comes to most consoles outside Switch at the month's end. After the huge success that was Shredder's Revenge, some genius over at Nickelodeon or Konami or wherever these games are made had a really good idea. Let's take 14 of the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, add not just local but also online co-op wherever possible, and throw in a few modern sensibilities like save states and rewinds. Put it on every system available and get it out ASAP. Well, that guy deserves a promotion because it's happening at the end of the month. Michelangelo, sign us out. Nah, I'm just kidding, we've got one more game to cover. Scathe at first glance looks like a Doom-like through and through. But in Doom, you're an all-powerful demon slayer, and from IGN's Jarrett Green's preview, he emphasizes in Scathe that that's not the case, and it can be tough if you approach it in the same way. Luckily, to ease the pain, the developers added 4-player online drop-in, drop-out co-op. The levels don't get more difficult per se with more people, but you do share a health pool, so you're only as good as your weakest link, and the game looks like it's really tough. This was a game we covered a while ago in a monthly that I honestly kind of forgot about, so we're interested to see how it reviews at the end of the month here. Keep an eye on this one for sure, I think it could be a banger.
On to our news block for July. This month is significantly smaller, coming from the onslaught of Summer Game Fest related news we got last month. That's okay with us since it means we can get this video out of the way so we can go play some more Multiversus. I'll start us off with some game updates while Andrew tells us of any new co-op games announced. Let's get it. The long-awaited online mode to The Quarry finally launched earlier this month, and sadly, it's kinda trash. Let me explain. The game originally launched with a local co-op mode that sees each player control a different character. It's the movie night mode we've seen in the past Dark Pictures titles. The Quarry's new mode, titled Wolfpack, is not that at all. In this mode, one player is essentially playing the game, while up to 7 players watch and have a say on certain decisions. There's no friend pass either. Everyone must own their own copy of the game to sit and watch someone else play the game. Yeah, I don't get it either. It's a huge disappointment. We wish it would have just been the movie mode but online, or at the very least the 2-player online shared story mode that previous titles have received. Oh well, looks like we'll need to get all our friends on the couch for this one come Halloween. Guys, at long last, we finally got the release of the Halo Infinite co-op mode. Kind of. The co-op mode we've been waiting ages for launched as an open beta on July 15th, and just came to a close. We didn't really hop into it ourselves because at this point we figured we might as well wait until the full release to avoid any unnecessary bugs. That full release seems closer than ever though, and should hopefully go live in the next month or two, please. Endless Dungeon is an indie game we've had our eye on for a while, and it got an open beta preview for a select lucky few earlier this month. There's a lot to this game, as it's a co-op roguelike with some tactical tower defense elements thrown in and some cool character classes as well. The preview seems mostly positive, praising the mix of action and strategy, while some mention some noticeable lag whenever the player performs certain actions. No release date on this one yet, so at least they have time to iron out any kinks. To finish up this half of the news cycle, we had the release of Season 4 of Aliens Fireteam Elite just a couple days ago. The new season allows you to play with other platforms in crossplay, introduces a new prestige progression system, and a whole new mode. This new mode is a wave-based co-op mode where you have to keep turrets restocked in order to survive an onslaught of aliens. Honestly, we had a really great time with this game, and while the seasonal model isn't enough to get us back to it, we're happy to see there's new content for people who did stick with it.
It's time to talk game announcements, and all of the ones we've compiled here look really good. From the developers of Curse of the Dead Gods, we got a new announcement in Raven's Watch. It'll be a top-down roguelike action game that can be played with up to 4 players in co-op. It has a class-based system and a similar art style to their previous game, which by the way was rated really high, so these guys know what they're doing. Seems to be a big focus on buildcraft within your team, and that is music to our co-op ears. No release date, but it's coming to all major platforms outside of the Switch, so just wishlist it for now. Another announcement to add to your wishlist is Bravery and Greed, coming this fall to PC and Switch. It's a beat-em-up platforming roguelike dungeon brawler for up to 4 players local and online. Yes, that's a lot, but from the looks of the trailer, it'll all work out. You've got some cool fantasy classes, an interesting looking combat system, and even a competitive PvP mode if you like. This looks really solid. I'd like to say we'd play it, but this fall is going to be pretty busy for us. This next one to me is crazy. Ubisoft has somehow made The Division into a mobile game, and it looks like the same match from the original game, except, graphically rendered on a phone. But a lot of what made that game good looks to be working here. Gear customization, progressive loot, class abilities, and of course co-op are all going to be included. It's a new story too, despite being in the same setting. For now, I think Ubisoft deserves some credit. This looks like a legit mobile remake. I definitely want to at least try it out with my backbone when it releases. Unfortunately, we all know how mobile games typically go. Ubisoft hasn't spilled the beans on how or where microtransactions will show up, and also hasn't mentioned if NFTs will be a part of it. Please, Ubisoft, just be cool for once on this one. No release date, for now we just know it's coming soon. Warframe developer Digital Extremes is moving on after 9 years to a new venture in Soulframe. Warframe to Soulframe may not sound like much of a difference, but their settings are. Warframe, if you'll remember, is a sci-fi shooter, whereas Soulframe will be a fantasy MMO focused on melee combat. For now, we only have a cinematic trailer to go on, but Warframe is a game that, over time, became much beloved by its fanbase. So we know the studio can do great work. Let's just hope that Soulframe starts off on a better foot. It's early on in development, so don't expect to see too much of it in the next year. Just a few days ago, Annapurna Interactive had a showcase with tons of new indie announcements. Joy of Flock came out of that, and ladies and gentlemen, it's cute. It's a co-op game about the joy of flight and collecting adorable flying creatures with your friends. Art direction is beautiful, and this is going to skyrocket to the top of the chill and cozy game landscape. It's coming to all major platforms, including Game Pass bar the Switch, and I'm very much looking forward to it. No release date, so just be sure to wishlist it.
That about does it for this edition of the Co-op Monthly. Thanks for watching, and consider showing us some support by subscribing, following us on socials, or joining us for a stream. We're currently playing V Rising and starting up Sniper Elite 5, which we're streaming on Mondays and Thursdays respectively. If you want to watch any of our previous streams, go check out our streaming playlist. Either way, we'll catch you next time on another episode of the Co-op Bros.